The Mars-Uranus conjunction in Taurus exacts early this week, Monday morning here in the US. Remember that Mars is always going to be instigating. It's the leading edge of where we're growing into the next moment of our soul journey. We're always becoming with Mars. And the deeper learning with Mars really is, what am I going to do? How am I going to respond? What am I going to do about what's arising or what life experience is eliciting within me? That sense of what am I going to do is relative to where do I want to go? We refine and we cultivate and we clarify our self-leadership relative to how we're choosing to act and behave in life, simply as that. Our choices, what we're actually doing with our energy, is what Mars is all about. Uranus is all about liberation from the known. And there's often this experience with Uranus transits of it seeming like our evolutionary journey is speeding up, like an acceleration of evolutionary growth. Things unfold really quickly and it can be exhilarating or terrifying. The reason why this happens is because Uranus points to our essential nature, really who we already are. Jeff Green describes this as the DNA, the essence of the oak seed contained all of the information of the oak tree that it will become. Our soul essence and our individuated awakening, who we become as we evolve more into what we essentially are, is already embedded and contained within our soul essence. So dynamics can be emerging and it can be sort of non sequitur or confusing to our existing constructs of what our life is about, but it's actually serving to accelerate and move us forward along our soul journey more into what we are. Think of it as it's a big rainstorm and suddenly that little plant grows and becomes more of a tree. In the meantime, soil breaks up. There's a whole lot of chaos or change that happens in that process. Not sure if that's the best analogy, but you get the idea. The point is, it's about our evolutionary growth into who we actually already are and are destined to become. In the same sense, Uranus transits can be these moments of insight and sort of essential, clear seeing, where we see our reality less from a conditioned perspective, less subjectivity, and more from a pure witness consciousness, the soul witness consciousness itself, seeing without the story of all of the conditioning that we've inherited. So when Mars and Uranus comes together, of course, we're being pushed and sort of stimulated into greater awakening. I'm going to share this graphic here just to go over a few essential points here, right? The basic experience of this Mars and Uranus conjunction, on the one hand, can feel like we're being bombarded. Right? Like life experience is irritating and pushing and stressing us out in a way that we're not comfortable. Remembering that Taurus doesn't want to budge, it wants to be comfortable, whereas your Mars-Uranus might be sort of lighting a fire under our butt to get us going into what's actually necessary for our growth. So being irritated by experience. Also facing our deep discontent. Where are we stifled? Where do we not feel our life, our value, the joy and the meaning and the embodied sense of this is the life that I'm living and it feels true and relevant for me? So we might feel deeply discontent. There might be a deep sense of fear or reactivity in being threatened by that which we perceive as undermining our sense of balance and peace. And again, being pushed out of our comfort zone, but against our will. Right? We're not choosing to leave that which is familiar, known, and safe, but circumstances like an earthquake can simply push us out of that seeming stability. Okay, the teachings here is that there is a need to embrace inevitable change. It's inevitable. You can't resist it. Kind of like the earthquake example. As nice as the concrete that you've laid down on the city floor looks, the earthquake will shatter that, and something more essential will eventually begin to make its way through. We can't suppress this. And in fact, our suppression of these Uranian dynamics just leads to a whole lot of stress and chaos. And with Mars-Uranus, that's like we can be generating a lot of stress or just seeing it in our environment. We need to really recognize it's ultimately pointing us to necessary change along our evolutionary journey. Whether or not we're conscious of what that change is, it's pushing us into it. And in that sense, sometimes it just does take a fire under our butts. Otherwise, we will remain seated. Watch more, react less. There's great value in cultivating more of an observer mind and seeing things as they are, not so much through the filter of how we might react to them. That allows us to kind of gain more objectivity. Where is life leading me? What is the invitation for change and growth right now? And in that way, the triggers aren't personal. This is all about instigating our own liberation. It's so helpful to recognize that. The more we can sort of see the inherent impersonalness of life experience, even if it's stressful or hard or we're feeling pushed, the more we can recognize that everything in its essence is pointing us to our freedom. I've shared this before. I once had this dream that was so helpful for me. In this dream, I heard myself speaking the words, something like, every experience in its highest understanding serves the purpose to honor, affirm, and respect the fact of your freedom. Every experience in its highest understanding serves to affirm and respect the fact of your freedom. What a powerful teaching. So I was intending to make a video highlighting the signature through the 12 houses, and I simply just don't have the time and the bandwidth to do that. I care more about quality than just pushing through. I did, however, write an article highlighting the signature through the 12 houses. So if you want to read my take on Mars, Uranus, and Taurus through the 12 houses, check out the description below. You can subscribe to my newsletter, also see the archives on my website to read any past newsletters as well. As always, thank you so much for watching.